be echoing up in here?
Yay!
Yay!
And we're back. 30 minutes. Thanks for the ride. Thanks for staying
Hey,
along.
Mo.
Hey, girl.
We got to start it over. Act like you brand new.
Is you right? It is brand new. Shoot.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Sorry. So how you doing?
Both mics are on. Oh, thank you. What do they say? Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me. Can you see me? So what's going on with you? Oh, you look adorable.
Huh? Well, this is I guess we're just gonna have a private chit chat with Chad.
Chit chat with Chad. Hey, that's your new podcast. You're welcome.
Chitty chat chat.
Yeah. Oof. This is a topic for,
It is a topic.
we talk about life. We talk about, what do you call it? Like not middle ages, being middle aged, and the things that happen along the way that may not have in the past. And it's like some things you get, gifts, new lives, new experiences, milestones, and then some things, you don't have a say over: sickness, death, loss of relationships. So, yeah, so today we're talking about grief. What is grief? Oh, you can't hear me now?
It's all even.
Oh, no. Did it sound garbled, Chad? Oh, no. But what is grief? What is it?
We talked about this, trying to understand what it meant. The stages and what's up?
Oh yeah, the 7 stages. Okay, you heard all
I
of
have
that.
5.
What
I
are
have
they?
5.
Like denial, acceptance. Those are, I don't know what's in the middle.
A whole mess of stuff.
I feel like I'm living life, be in denial. This is not reality.
I can't even right now.
Oh,
I can't, like. So there's phases of grief. What is this? There's all kind of stuff.
Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Okay. What's bargaining? I never heard that one.
Like hope, maybe.
I'll give you anything if you just bring him back.
It sounds kind of weird, but kind of, I think it's just the idea of like, just give, I'll do anything. Just please bring this person, this thing, this whatever back, or let me have another chance at this, or like whatever.
And what is
like, yeah, I don't know. So denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they don't always go in order, and you may not fully be done with one stage. Like you can go hop back and chit chat with Chad. You can hop back and forth between 2 things, or just when you think you're done, you end up back at 1 again with denial or something.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Like for me, if I have a black shirt or like something black, I'll think it's my cat. I'm like,
oh yeah.
And it's like for a split second, I think it's my cat. And
it suspends all reality. You're like, you
yes.
think everything's
for that moment, I'm in that reality that my cat is here, like
everything's fine. Changed. Nothing. Yeah. And yeah.
Same thing with family members. Like when something happens, like something in the news that never happened before, it's like I have an instinct. It's not as bad now to call my parents or something and be like, hey, did you see that on the news?
Especially now. Ooh, all kind of stuff happening right now. Like, Dad, you see this? Do you see this?
We would be talking some trash about that stuff. Some trash.
So this is good grief. I don't really even know where to go with this. I mean, we talked about it in a couple other episodes, shows, lives, whatever, about
Mhm.
some losses that we've experienced over the time that, you know, yeah, over the past couple months seemed like a lot. And we lost
Yeah,
Bob Barker. Y'all,
right. Bob Barker was hanging on forever, so
99 years old. 99. Somebody was joking. They made this meme and it was like, yeah, he spun that wheel and got as close to 100. What is it? 100 without going over or something?
oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, "Aw, memories, like the
Memories, yeah.
nostalgia of Price is Right."
Price is Right.
Yep.
I used to not even like Price is Right. I would just watch it because that's what everybody was watching, and just
Uh-huh.
waiting for Young and the Restless to come on. That was
Never
my
went
show.
over 100. But I mean, for me, I don't know about for you, but, like, there were other memes going around that was like, in honor of Bob Barker, and it had, like, when you're homesick, it had soup, crackers, ginger ale, whatever. Because when you're homesick, it came on at, like, 10 o'clock in the middle of the
Yeah.
day during the week, so it was, like, the only time you got to see it was either it was summertime or you were homesick, and so it's
Mhm.
just so funny that a whole generation of people, now adults, think of him as, entertainment when you're homesick. Price is Right, I don't know what else was on, but I remember that on sick
Young
days.
and the Restless. Can
Ooh, you were a
you
Young
send
and the
me that?
Restless. Then you what?
Victor. Is Victor alive? The one where they had the saltines and stuff in the
Yeah,
soup.
yeah, yeah. I'll find it. It's all over
Thank you.
Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Yeah, it's funny. I'll find it. But yeah, so Bob Barker. But he lived a long, 99 years. That's
Mhm.
amazing. I
Right?
don't know that I want to be around for 99 years, but
I was talking to
we
my
should all be
friend.
so lucky.
Right? I was talking to my friend, and she's in her late 60s or mid 60s, and she said she loves working, so she's not going to retire. She loves it. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, I still have, 20 something years to go. That's crazy to say,
Why you gotta say that? Don't say it like
Like, dang, I don't know, man. I don't know if I have the strength. So,
the strumpf. Keep working. But a
right?
man.
Oops, sorry.
So grief. Okay, so here's one thing that it has to do with friendship too, I believe. But I know right after my dad passed, Mo was frozen. Is she frozen for y'all? Okay, there you are. Right after my dad passed, we were texting, and I asked you because we're in a group text, whatever, with another
Mhm,
friend of ours whose father also passed away several years ago. Um, but just asking about how, like, does it go away? Like, does
mhm,
it? Do you ever get used to it? And I think the answer that you guys gave was no.
yeah.
Um, Well, because I was trying to explain to my husband because he was like, I want to just understand like what you're feeling, and it was like, we're not very mushy and emotional like that. But he asked
Mhm,
me one night and he was like, just tell me. And I think one of the things about losing my dad, and I'm sure losing a dad for girls, women out there who were daddy's girls, because I was a big old daddy's girl, is just you wake up the next morning, the world is not a place you recognize anymore. It's completely different because he's not in it. And I
mhm,
feel like my dad for me represented um, security. I knew no matter what, he was there
mhm,
to come swoop me up out of a bad situation, to have a cup of coffee with me, to just to see him or to
mhm,
eat like smells, like just those types of things, like just knowing that he was in the world. And so waking up and him not being a part of the world, and I think I felt this when other people have passed too, is like the
mhm,
world is different. And I think if people today think about what it would be like after you're gone, you know what I mean? Know that the world will be different. You
mhm,
matter in this world. And the world when you are gone is a completely different world. So
mhm.
be here. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Enjoy
you
the
are, yes, and you are important because
time.
your absence is very much felt, even if it's, I feel like I've lost somebody who I didn't care for too much
Mhm,
anymore, and I had really terrible feelings towards whatever, but once was close to, and just hearing that he had left this world
mhm,
shook me. Like, just
mhm,
because, like, how? Like, what?
mhm,
So, And I don't know, I guess maybe that's the denial part or the I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it's just a grappling with what is real now. Like, I don't know this place.
It is a new place. It's a new reality.
Yeah. And then you have to relearn how to live in this place now where, there's a hole in it or there's,
And some people never do. I swear, like, even my mom grieved her mother's passing, and I feel like she never could get over it.
got over it. Yeah.
So, I don't know, but yeah, like you said, like making yourself
What is enough time? Are we given
Yeah.
I mean, definitely not in the workplace. Can we talk about that? I worked in HR for how long? Oh, okay. Your parent died 2 days. And you better bring me an obituary for proof. Like, it's so cold.
Okay.
You don't remember that? Because my grandpa passed. When you and I worked together, my grandpa passed. And I left. I don't know if I sat right by you. I remember I just dropped my shit and left. Like, I was like, oh, I heard he was, and I left. And then I had to call our boss and stuff and let them know after the fact. I think I said something on the way out. But yeah, you get depending on relation, your company will give you X number of days if you get a day. I don't know if it's paid time off or at least just excused time off to go deal with that.
That's crazy.
So it's ridiculous. And then you got to dip into your own paid time off. Yeah, so it's
laws may have changed as well now, so it may not even be the same.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we given enough time? You have the whole rest of your life, and you still probably won't solve anything.
Or do we give ourselves enough time to grieve? Because I feel like we probably don't do that for ourselves, and just just to sit with it and feel what needs to be felt and deal with it because you're too busy. Got to go back to work. Got to take care of these people. Got to do this. And it might be an avoidance tactic.
Yeah, it is.
Hard.
Staying busy, keeping busy. That's what I realized. Some of the things I do are just distractions. It's like, what are you avoiding? What uncomfortable truth? And I've noticed this. So I don't even know if it's ADD or some kind of trauma response or something, but I can be sitting still, and it is the most uncomfortable feeling. It is like, no, I do not feel safe like sitting still right here, like right now. Got to be doing something. And like we always say, like, I used to be that kind of person. I was always doing something, always. And so to try to think, like the one time I thought I had time to think about it, like I had some kind of surreal experience. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to think about stuff because this is well, for me, mine was gruesome. I don't want to see that.
You said gruesome. I can't. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just talking about family, like not the cats. Oh,
and this is, I mean, I don't even know where we're going with this and all that stuff, but I feel like that is, if you have seen very traumatic death or experienced like some serious trauma at death, that's something that you can't.
Oof. Look,
sometimes you can't. That's something I don't think you can avoid. I mean, you can busy your mind as much as you can.
I hadn't thought about it. Now I'm thinking about it. See, you just don't think about it.
But it's these, I don't think I've gotten to that point yet of not thinking about it, because I think it's in the quiet moments. And at some point you got to lay down and go to sleep. At some point you got to get in the shower. Those are the two places and times for me where I can't control what happens in my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I see things I don't want to see, or recall things I don't want to recall. So then what, like, how do you escape that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know for me, it was busy. I kept myself busy as soon as I think I cried that night, and then I'll handle the funeral. Doing all the stuff, calling people, doing all that stuff. And then still got 3 kids, doing the stuff. But then when it's all over.
Yeah. When you have time to think. Oof.
It was bad. It was really bad. Yeah.
So have you found any kind of ways to deal with it?
I feel like I think it depends on the loss,
Mm,
um, because I feel like I had a lot of time with my dad. I mean, speaking of just this particular loss,
mhm,
and I, I mean, I don't know if it's. Sometimes I think of it as, hey. Sometimes I think of it as silly. Like a lot of it, this is a memory. Okay, let me just share this memory, and I feel really horrible about this. So sorry to my brother wherever he is. But when my grandfather passed, I was like 25, and my brother was 21.
mhm,
Wait, or was I? Yeah. Um, and we were at the funeral, and my brother just broke down, and he put his
mhm,
head on my shoulder, and he was like weeping. And I don't know if it's, and I definitely know it's the way I was raised or the way I was brought up or programmed or whatever. But I was like, cut that shit out, stop
oh,
it, you know?
wow.
Yeah. And I was like, don't do that. And I find that I'm telling myself that in
Mhm.
moments where it's overcoming, stop it.
Don't
You
be
know,
weak, man, don't be weak, what you doing?
exactly, exactly. And it's like, it's my dad. Like,
Mhm.
what the, if I can't,
You're
like,
allowed to grieve your dad.
right. And so I mean, I've always looked back and felt bad about that with my brother. Because
Mhm,
like what, who does that? Why would somebody, like you're allowed to feel what you need to feel, you're allowed to do what you got to do. But that's just, and I keep going back to that whenever I feel that I am not allowing myself to grieve. And there goes
mhm.
Mo.
I'm
Reactions are
still here.
projections. Yeah. So I feel like that's,
Yes.
I forgot the question. But
How you dealing
oh,
with
what
it?
am I doing? How am I dealing? Like, I mean, I'm dealing with it. You kind of
Mhm,
just have to, it creeps up in weird times, but I'm trying to do things to let myself have little outlets. So every morning I get up early before everybody else. He was a big coffee drinker. I get that from him. I drink a lot of coffee. So
aw,
I make my coffee and I go outside. If the weather's okay, I go outside and I'm at the place where he passed and I have my coffee with him in the morning. And so,
mhm,
I talk to him. I, share what's going on, with our family and things like that. And whew, I get, but I talk to him. That's what I do.
yeah, oh, that's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah.
I love that. And I was thinking some of the thing like, I don't do anything like a ritual or anything, but some of the things are just things maybe, like, depending on your relationship with someone, like, with my parents and things, we like to watch the news and talk about the news, so, like, listening to the news,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
it's just like a a way of bonding with them still, even though it's not, like, it's just something that bring those feelings back and everything, and, like, you can't
I
believe
know.
these Republican, Black people who,
What? All of a it went, and all of a sudden I heard Republican black people.
there's this whole thing going on in the news, I forgot what happened, something in Florida,
Oh
and
god.
anyway, I'm just like, they would be having a field day with that, with all of the stuff going on there.
I just know I remember via text, I think after Trump's first indictment
Mm.
in New York or whatever, we were talking about, I was like, man, my dad would be eating this up.
Oh,
He would
yeah,
just be like, I'd be sitting next to him, we'd just be watching on the TV going, oh my gosh, oh my,
'cause
because
yeah.
that's one of the things he said before he went. He was just like, why are they taking so long? Why is
Oh,
Fonnie Willis taking so
man.
long down in, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? They're not going to do shit. And it's like, I mean, they probably still, I mean, who knows? But,
Yeah.
and I remember you saying that was the first call you wanted to make. And so that's what has
Yeah,
me thinking, like, does it ever go away? Like,
yeah,
does
I
it
don't think
ever?
so, 'cause those kind of feelings, I think for me, that was us with OJ, that was us with Bill Clinton, like, all of those
Yeah.
we were just dishing the dimpled chads, we were just talking about all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
the those things, like, now I listen to the news and it's something I like to do, but it's also a bonding thing. I think it's wrapped
Mhm.
into one because that's how, like, custom, I guess, that's a custom that we had. I don't know, practice. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you got it from him maybe. I mean, just being
Yeah.
raised and having those conversations, that's something you get. Swinging doors.
Welcome,
Yeah.
Adrielle.
And then I have, like, voicemails I will never delete,
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
And I have everything set to, like, delete after 30 days and stuff like that, but there's just, like, I listen to his, like, that's the one thing is the voice, for me to just
I lost
remember
mine
that.
over time.
Yeah.
Or threw them away. I
Oh.
don't know, because this stuff was on a recorder back when you record voicemails.
Oh my
Your
gosh.
cordless phone. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing with my cordless phone.
Do you remember those answering machines with a
Yep.
little tape?
Doom, doom, doom,
Oh
doom,
my
doom.
gosh.
Hey, hey, y'all, this is Mo. I'm not home right now.
You had NSYNC on your thing?
Yeah, and it was kind of
Bye, bye, bye.
and then I started being corny, like during the last days of voicemail in that form, I would be like, hello? I can't hear you. What?
Oh,
No,
no,
I'm
you
not.
did not.
Now I don't even
Oh
set
my
up
goodness.
voicemail. You got to figure it
Yeah, I
out.
don't. If you left me a voice, I'm not gonna listen to it. You better
Yeah,
text me. I'm not doing it. But
text
now
away.
I'm glad, old people be leaving voicemails because
Yes.
I have voicemails now. I have, his voice.
Yeah,
So,
beautiful. He had such a beautiful voice.
oh,
I used to call him
yes.
Denzel.
He had a very deep, deep,
Yeah.
comforting voice. Just
Not audio engineering.
oh my
You
gosh.
can tell me sometimes I would play like Jodeci or something.
That's a whole
Baby,
vibe.
won't you
Look
just
at
hey. And I would be going extra. Hey y'all. I'm not here
that.
right now.
Oh my goodness. Ridiculous mixtape that thing.
Appreciate that thing.
Oh my
Seriously,
gosh.
but that's the thing. It's like grief. There's laughter in grief as well.
Always gotta laugh. I feel
Yeah.
like you always gotta find it. And that's, I had my dad passed this year, and a year ago my cousin passed, and he was, gosh, my age
Oof.
now, I think. So he was young. Um, and just amidst the crying and like, there's always, family will start to cut up and talk about something funny
Yeah.
they did or just whatever. Like, and I feel like that's such a healing thing because you can't just sit in grief. I feel like you've
Mm-mm.
got that's a tool. It's a tool. I think the busyness, keeping busy, which is probably not the healthiest thing, but keeping busy and then
Yeah.
finding laughter or finding a way to laugh through it.
You
I
have
don't know.
to. It's like you would die, literally, like implode or something if you didn't. So we
Yeah.
have these resources in our bodies telling us, this is what you have to do. But if it's getting out of control, that's where it gets bad. Like if you're just like really avoiding it to a point like where we call it a pizza moment. I had like when I was in Massachusetts, and all of my friends and I were just having pizza. Like we had a fun night out, and we were just out having pizza. And I just had a complete meltdown at the pizza thing, and I don't know what triggered it about the pizza or what, but I just had a meltdown, and it was like, oh, I'm all alone in this world. Everybody's gone, and like it was just like bad.
Yeah.
And so now we laugh. We call it the pizza moment. Or are you gonna have a
I
pizza
like
moment?
that. A
Yeah,
pizza moment.
yeah.
That's cute. This was law school?
Pardon?
Was it law school? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like times of high stress too. Like all of
Mm,
it probably it was too much. Like you
yeah.
sitting there with your pizza. Yeah, yeah. I feel like everybody probably has a story like that in law school where you just lose your shit.
Ooh, tell us
Sense.
more. Sense. Oh yeah.
I second that. I feel
Here's
like
some Irish
I
Spring. I didn't think about my dad.
oh, well there's so I
Old English.
wrote a book under a pseudonym um a couple decades ago, damn, at least 15 years ago. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I wrote was about this scent and how scents trigger memories. And I had this boyfriend in college, and he always wore Hugo Boss. And now if I ever smell that, I'm taken back to college. Like I'm taken back to a place,
Mhm.
feelings, insecurities. Like everything. It brings me back to that specific time in my life. And for me now, my dad wore Eternity for Men. He always
Ooh, I don't
smelled
even
good.
know
He
what that
smelled
smells
so
like.
good.
Ooh, I bet.
And so
Black people
anytime I
smell
smell
different.
that, yeah, he smelled good. So anytime I smell it, it's like that's this my I look for him, you know?
Aw.
So yeah, scents definitely are triggering.
Yeah.
There's got to be a study. I feel like there was a study. There has to be where scents trigger memory or something
Oh, yeah,
more
definitely.
than anything else,
Yeah.
right?
And then there are things that we can't even smell, like with the pheromones and stuff that we take
Like
in.
survival,
Yeah, it's a
like
survival thing.
animalistic
We're
almost. Yeah.
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what the end game
Animals.
is here, but we're animals. You know,
Endgame. I'm just trying to make it through today. I don't know what you're talking about. Endgame.
right? I don't know
Oh
what the
my
end game
gosh.
is.
Yeah. Scents are triggering for sure.
Yeah, in a good and bad way. Sometimes it's a bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes it can be good. The scent of certain foods
Yeah.
that maybe a person isn't around to make anymore, and you smell something
Mhm.
that smells like, and you're like, oh, like that definitely takes you back for sure.
You get used to that
Or that.
cooking. Oof. Like nothing tastes the
Yeah.
same. Like I don't think I'll ever have my mom's mac and cheese, my aunt's mac and cheese.
Mm.
Well, I've never had mac and cheese, but one day they'll make a
Yeah,
vegan
you're not having that kind. Yeah.
cheese.
Do you
'Cause
have recipes? I mean, a lot of stuff is not. We talked about
it's
this. It's not
yeah, this is
recipes.
the yeah.
It's just a little taste in your heart.
Yeah,
That's
a
the
little
love.
taste and
Yeah.
the main ingredients. So once
Yeah.
we veganize, and I have made some. I was looking at old pictures of me and my friends in London, and
Mhm.
I made a whole Thanksgiving spread. They loved it. They don't celebrate obviously Thanksgiving, so they loved it.
I mean, should we? Anyways.
But it's not, like Thanksgiving. It's just a time to eat a lot. I mean, I don't know
we
what
don't
else
need a
is
special day for that. We do
Yeah, I'm
that
like,
all the time.
I was talking about, speaking of past, my Jimmy, my little cat.
Yes.
Well, not little in any way, but my bestie sent a picture, posted a picture, and I didn't see it. So she told me, she said, "You see that picture I posted of Jimmy?" And I look, and it was Jimmy on the toilet. And I was like, "Why is Jimmy on your toilet, dude?" And she said, "Oh, I had his food in the bathroom, so he was probably looking for it." And I was like, "That's Jimmy, always looking for food." And she was like, "He gets it from his mama." I'm like, "Yo, he gets it from his mama." I was like, "I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat right now." Shoot.
So how about you? How are you dealing? What do you do? I mean,
Ooh, lots of therapy and psychiatry, massages and exercise, and
ooh, I need a massage.
yeah. I am very I have a lot of resources. Otherwise, I don't know if I would be functioning. So, I mean, you've seen when I'm not functioning. So, yeah, I have a lot of resources, thank God, and I'm using them. So,
That's
and
good.
then obviously friends. Gosh, you've been through the whole thing. Few of y'all been through the whole thing, and through from big family losses to the cats, which is a big family loss for me. So I think just not leaning on, like not becoming overly dependent on, but just leaning into friends. Whereas before, maybe I would have been embarrassed to say I need something or need help or need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Trying to get better, better at that, and just leaning into friends, doing the work of therapy and psychiatry, and just trying to get my mind right.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do. Go to my bar class.
All the memes.
That's how I communicate. I guess that's weird. His friend was like, "Oh, you communicate in memes." And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk.
You don't? You don't?
Right?
But what's the point in talking when
perfectly
there's something that like encapsulates
Yes.
everything that you are feeling, right?
Right? And it's so perfect. It
We
almost
get each
makes you
other.
feel, yeah.
Seen.
We
You
had it
feel
before.
seen.
We had it before. Remember, we would call it our mocks. Mocks.
Yes. Yeah.
We just had a communication style. We were able to communicate our own language. And I guess young
Yep.
girls have that. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't have friends. So it was nice to see how people with friends behave. But yeah, like sometimes there's a meme and you're like, that is exactly me. This guy talked about he don't like going to Trader Joe's because there's too many people in there. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, dude.
I don't like it either.
That's me.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
I agree. I agree.
I feel like there've been
I
a
think
lot
the shit
Huh.
part I'm about to say the shit
Oh,
part is that this is something that we're gonna have to deal with more and more and more as we
ooh,
age,
that's good. I'm
which is
glad you brought that up.
terrible. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
Like, I know
damn.
I don't. Like, I've been through it, and all of my friends have been through it with me, and then now it's my turn to be there for y'all, and I'm like, "This is weird. I don't know. I don't know what to do." Like, I
How do
don't know
you
what to
support
say.
somebody? How
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good question though. How do you support somebody? So, because we talked
I
about
don't
this when
know.
we talked about doing this episode, because there
Mhm,
are a lot of different types of loss. And we talked about there, I forgot. We found some website, I can't pull it up,
mhm,
whatever. That talked about different types of losses, things that are maybe taboo, like self-deletion or
yeah,
maybe drug issues or things like that.
babies, yeah,
We talked about, I mean, and loss could be loss or grief could come from like a lost opportunity, a lost job.
mhm,
It could come from miscarriages or a lost child, a
mhm,
divorce. Like there's all these things that end. It doesn't have to just be life that ends. It could be opportunities. It could be a relationship, and you grieve those things.
mhm.
And so it's just kind of, how do you support your friends through grief? What can you do? Um, I mean, you can send brownies and flowers, but like that's what else are you gonna do? How
Yeah.
else do you? What words can you use, or
Like, how
how do you
often do you
support your
check in? Like, do you even bring it
Yeah,
up? I know I was awkward because I was like, I don't even like, what if you don't wanna hear about it, you know? It's like, I guess
yeah,
you should trust that we're able to communicate, and if we don't want to, you know, so
yeah,
my grandmother, who recently passed, used to keep newspaper clippings of obituaries of everyone she knew. It wasn't so much grief, but memorial. Oh, wow, that's sad. I can't even think about that. I already have one friend who passed. Oof,
yeah,
the friends, like, not just the like, their family members, but them themselves, and that can
yeah.
happen at any age, but this is the age where it's just naturally gonna start happening, unfortunately.
I think it makes you think about your own mortality. I mean,
Mm,
I don't know. I know you and I view this differently because we joke about it and stuff, but I think when I take a step back and I think about it, it's kind of unbelievable to me how many friends of mine are widowed um,
what? Oh, wow.
from a young age with young children, and
Mhm,
it's like life is so fragile. And it doesn't seem that way. Sometimes it's like, man, I've been through some things and this is just, how it is. But how quickly things can change, like unexpectedly, whatever. Um, I think it's scary too when you're dealing with loss and grieving somebody passing to
mm,
think about your own mortality. Or the people you care about around you. Like I think it makes if you have anxiety, like I have like severe anxiety
mhm.
as it pertains to my children. Like I'm very like, like this could happen. Oh, I'm envisioning like the worst case scenarios of everything. Going down
I
the
would do
slide.
the
Oh,
same if I had
slam
to.
his head
Yep,
into,
yep.
it's and this just heightens it. And I think that's why like the mental health component, like if you're already struggling with some kind of anxiety or a panic attacks or any of that type of thing, I think having a loss only amplifies that. Um, and you definitely need to seek help to get through that because
Yeah,
that
I
it could
got
be crippling
yeah.
for sure. Like for sure.
Yeah,
For
if I
sure.
didn't have help, and still, decades later, but, like, now with my cats and everything who've been with me, my primary emotional support. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I couldn't do it on my own. I'm, barely doing it now with all the help, so
Mm, I can't think of those new kind of
ruh-roh.
like a friend, like a what?
I
Ruh-roh?
didn't hear I got a computer.
Oh, no, I was just thinking about the newspaper clippings of the obituaries, and I know that in my house there's like an ofrenda almost from like Coco. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, or just
Mm-mm.
like it's like I think in Mexican cultures
Like a
for
sanctuary?
yeah, of all the family that have passed, and
Mhm.
you have their pictures up. So we have that now, and we got grandparents. My
Aw.
one of the things that kind of was like beautiful towards the end there is my dad was finding out he had the ancestry done and he was reconnecting with family. His dad passed when he was like in second grade. So he was
Oh.
finding out who his dad was. Cause I mean, you're
Mhm.
7 or 8 years old, you don't remember. And if it's not something shared with you, you're not going to remember. So he had a picture, he got a picture of his dad. He framed it. I know he would talk about it as if he was a child. Like, that's my dad.
Oh.
Like, it was beautiful. And then to find out who his grandpa was, he never knew his, because my whatever. He never knew who his grandfather. So he found a
Mhm.
picture of his grandfather. He's like, this is where I come from. These are my people, and just piecing together your history. So we have all their pictures,
Aw.
everybody. Like, I mean, obviously I've never met my grandfather, his dad,
Mhm.
or great grandfather, but we have all their pictures framed. My dad has now joined the picture situation.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's a nice way to honor or just remember, just have a place
Yeah.
that's just, you know, I don't know.
Some people put
I don't
fruit
know.
and stuff, like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's bad.
Little candy, little something.
Yes.
An offering.
Mhm.
I don't know.
And it's something like I visited. I don't hardly go, because I feel like it's more for me than my mom, obviously.
Mhm.
Stop. Um, but I went to her grave a few years back, and I just remember thinking I was fine, and then, you get to that grave and and it's just all this stuff and it's just like, where did that come from? I've been surviving, I've been fine, but
Mhm.
like you said, you cope to the day to day, but it doesn't go away.
Yeah. Well, I think also it's easy to be yourself. And it's not until you are face to face with this thing that
Mhm,
you've been avoiding because you've been so busy. And I know that's how I can be too, is just busy, busy doing the life goes on,
mhm,
which it just does, as cold as that may sound or whatever, life goes on. So the day, sun will keep rising, the things will keep happening, whatever.
it
But
will.
when you stop your time for a second to stop and look at their graves, their grave, their whatever, or stop and look at a picture, stop or listen to a voicemail, or just stop and take a moment when you're in that moment. It's almost like sitting with yourself and your feelings, like you're sitting with that
Mhm,
person and acknowledging, hey, I haven't thought about you like this in a while, but you existed, you were important. I'm here with you now.
mhm.
I don't know. So, and it's hard too if you're not near their gravesite. So it's not like you
Yeah.
can go often so
Yeah, but it was nice to
I
see it
don't know.
was kept up and somebody put, like, some
Yeah.
flowers on it, so, like, some artificial flowers, so it's always be nice. I thought
Oh,
nice.
that's nice.
But
Oh.
yeah, now I have it. I saved the coordinates because we couldn't find it. And just like my friends brought me there, so it's just like being able to lean on your friends. This condo
Oh.
is, oh, wow. Oh, your mustard
It's in
greens?
the
Mhm,
universe. It's in the universe.
mhm.
Oh.
Oh,
I want some greens though. Can I
right? I wanna try your
can I
greens.
get some
Girl, give me
greens?
your greens.
I know Adriel can cook, okay?
Right?
First of all, I be looking at stuff she posts, I'm like, "Can I get a plate? Can I get a plate?"
Right?
Oh,
Make me a
num
vegan
num.
plate.
Mm, mm. We don't do
Yes.
that either.
I
That's a
do it
hard
with
thing.
myself and then eat it all, so that's the problem.
We did Sunday dinners, and we haven't brought ourselves to get back to the table and do it since my dad passed.
Mm.
Because I
Well,
mean,
that's
literally gonna be an empty chair, like, I think just the formality of that I would lose it.
mhm. Made
I would
me
not
to
be
lose it, and just the
Yeah.
you'll be like, and I survived that too. This too shall pass."
Well, that's
Whether you're right.
the internal struggle I have, which has made me put kind of like I was saying with my brother and how I was like,
Mhm,
"Stop it." I'm doing that with myself. I have cried in front of my children. We share our emotions, but the amount that I want to weep, I cannot do
mhm.
in front of them because I
Yeah,
feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it
root
would just
chakra.
be yeah, and I'm not trying to mess them up.
Yeah.
more than
Yes,
already, you
that
know?
sounds good. Make me some vegan
Mm.
side and put in the freezer.
Put it in a freezer.
Oh, sorry, you're like, "I don't want to mess up my kids," and I'm like, "Yeah, make me some greens."
Put it here, put it in the freezer. Freeze it up, I'll be there. I get it, food.
Right, see?
Shoot, back to my Twizzlers, damn.
Dang, I need to order some vegan
Mhm.
gummies. Lily's, they're another corn fiber
Mm.
one. They're good too.
They make gummies? I know they make chocolate,
Yeah, they make some vegan
like
ones
that
with
keto
corn
chocolate.
fiber. Yes, so the corn is just all fiber and you just garbage in, garbage out, so guilt free.
We have a whole episode about our bowel movements. So nasty. Mm.
What does that say? Does it say raised by a great dad?
Oh, my brother and I got this shirt for my brother and I. Ooh.
Oh, that's
And so
beautiful.
at the funeral, you know, we were dressed up for the funeral, and then afterwards we changed into these shirts.
So what happens afterwards in your family, like after a funeral?
You eat. I mean, there's always food. I mean, you
Yeah, I
eat.
think that's we eat and socialize.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we ate a lot.
right.
And it was nice. And that's when the laughter came and the talking and the storytelling and the taking pictures and the kids
Mhm.
playing, and where, you know, you go to the funeral, you cry, you know, people act
Mhm.
out. You see him laid to rest. He had a military funeral.
Yep.
So that got me. That, you know, playing taps and they had the flag and they were doing all that. Um, and then we stayed for them to like actually lower him and do all of that.
Hmm.
And that was not good. And then we went to go eat.
The way you said it, it's not funny, but the way you said it. They went and grab some food, you know. Yeah.
Everybody eat up, eat up. Yeah, food
Eat
is a
your
wonderful coping
feelings. Yeah.
mechanism.
Yes,
Eat
food
them up.
is. Yep. It is wonderful. And I feel like that's why I'm still coping is with
Yeah, I'm a stay coping, okay?
yeah. It's like I'm already thinking what I'm gonna eat. It's like 10:13. Like I don't really need to be eating anything. And so I think like that's part of the work. That's part of going to therapy and getting help and trying to figure out like, okay, you gotta stop eating at some
Other
point. Like it's not saving
other
you.
ways.
It's not yeah. Like yeah, there are other ways, but what, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
food is not. Mm-mm. Well,
we wanted to we want to pay homage to our people or say
oh, yeah, we could do
goodbye.
that.
You go first. I feel like it's
Woo!
disrespectful for you.
I can't come back on after mine because I will not
Okay.
be able to.
All right,
So
y'all. Well, we love y'all. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. We got a couple clips we're gonna share with you all.
you go right on ahead. Oh, the babies.
Jimmy, that's little Jimmy when he was a kitten. That's Jimmy and Pantera. Jimmy and Pantera again, my babe. His Christmas outfit. Pantera eating watermelon. That's my food. So yeah, it was just a little montage of my babies. You know, I spent my whole life with them growing up. They raised me, so thank y'all.
I don't feel like I want to. Okay, so I put something together for my dad. I don't even know who's still here. Whatever, but I'm gonna say goodnight now. Say bye now. I'll press play, but I will not be coming back after. So that's all. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
All right, Pookie.
All right. You guys, let me tell you about this guy here. On June 2nd of this year, we lost my dad. He was the best, and I was a daddy's girl. He was a storyteller, fun-loving, and always there when you needed him. He served this country honorably, and he loved this country, even today. There really isn't a high point in my life that he wasn't there for. He was a supportive and reliable dad, and an even better grandpa and papa to my kids and my nephews. My children loved him dearly. He always made sure to tell you that he loved you and how important you were to him. So even though we weren't expecting him to pass, we were all finding peace in the fact that he expressed his feelings and his love every day, all the time. And wherever you are, Dad, we miss you